Welcome to our Biweekly Snapshot. We're diving into the first half of February 2026, and let me tell you, it was a period where Vietnam's tech and business scene really started to hit its stride. We're going to break down the key moments that are shaping what's coming next.
You know, this isn't just about a few random wins here and there. What we're really seeing is a convergence of momentum. Three massive currents are flowing together at the same time. Incredible tech innovation, the build-out of a serious digital backbone, and a major push in green investment.
So, here's how we're going to walk through it. We'll kick things off with the lifeblood of innovation, fresh capital hitting the startup world. Then we'll look at the big established players and their strategic chess moves. After that, we'll dive into the new green finance framework. And of course, we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways and what this all means moving forward. All right, let's start with the engine room of all this growth. Investment. There's a fresh wave of capital really energizing Vietnam's startup scene, especially in hot sectors like gaming and fintech.
A perfect example of this is Panthera Global. They're a game studio based in Hanoi, and they just closed a $1.5 million seed round. But it's what they're doing with that money that's so interesting.
So, Panthera is making a really strategic shift here. They're moving away from those simple ad-based mobile games that we see everywhere. Instead, they're building complex, mid-core RPGs. This is all about creating deeper, long-term engagement with players in really valuable markets like the US and Japan. It's a sign that the gaming industry in Vietnam is really leveling up.
Now, let's switch gears over to fintech. A company called 𝐒𝐄 just raised $4.2 million, and they're tackling a really important space: employee financial wellness.
Okay, so here's the clever part about their model. 𝐒𝐄's service lets employees get an advance on wages they've already earned, but instead of charging the employee, they use a B2B model where the company pays the fee. This is a huge deal for more than 100,000 workers, giving them financial flexibility without any extra cost. It's a total win-win. And the fintech scene just keeps getting hotter. The well-known US firm Tala is now entering the Vietnamese market with a $5 million investment right out of the gate. Tala's tackling a really interesting challenge. See, a lot of people in Vietnam have bank accounts, but getting access to formal credit is still a huge hurdle for many. So, Tala isn't lending directly. Instead, they're partnering with CIMB Bank and using their technology to offer small loans, filling a massive gap for people who might otherwise have to turn to informal, high-interest lenders. But listen, it's not just the startups making all the moves. Vietnam's established tech giants are making some absolutely massive investments. They're building the foundation for both huge scale and, importantly, technological independence. Take a look at VNG Corporation, for example. Now, gaming is still their biggest piece of the pie at 45%, but you can see a major strategic diversification happening. Their fintech and telecom arms are growing fast, making up a combined 55%. It shows they're successfully broadening their business and really focusing on sustainable, long-term cash flow.
Okay, this next one is a huge deal for Vietnam's entire tech industry. FPT and Viettel are teaming up to create a made-in-Vietnam semiconductor supply chain. You can think of it like this. Viettel is handling the super complex front end, actually making the silicon wafers, and FPT is handling the back end, testing and packaging the final chips. This kind of partnership is a massive step towards tech self-sufficiency.
And speaking of massive steps, get a load of this number. A consortium led by KKR is making a $5.1 billion play to take full ownership of ST Telemedia global data centers.
So why does this matter for Vietnam? Well, it means a huge injection of capital to expand top-tier data centers in the country. And they're doing it in partnership with VNG. This whole move is a direct response to the absolutely explosive global demand for AI and cloud computing. It really cements Vietnam's role as a key digital hub in the region.
So we've got startups, we've got industry giants. But what's helping to connect all of this? Policy. All this private sector energy is being matched by a new government framework that's designed to steer investment toward green and sustainable projects. There are two really important initiatives to know about. First is the SHIFT project, which is backed by Germany. It's helping banks create green financial products specifically for small and medium-sized businesses. Then there's the AGILE project, funded by Canada. It's using public money to make it less risky for private investors to back climate-focused companies, especially those led by women. At the end of the day, both are trying to unlock the private capital needed for a green transition.
And if you want to see what this looks like in the real world, just look at Retrieve JSC. These guys have figured out how to take wastewater from food processing plants and actually turn it into a revenue stream. It is a fantastic example of the circular economy in action.
And the numbers are just incredible. In their pilot programs, a single factory using Retrieve's tech can create up to $400,000 in new revenue every year. We're talking a payback period of under 6 months.
But here's the other side of that coin. It's not just about the money. That same factory can cut its carbon emissions by more than 500 tons a year. This is exactly that powerful dual return, both economic and environmental, that these new green policies are designed to fuel.
Okay, so let's zoom out and connect all these dots from the first half of February. When you put it all together, one word really comes to mind: convergence. We're seeing three powerful forces all hitting their stride at the exact same time. You've got fresh capital validating innovative startups. You've got industry titans laying the actual groundwork, the digital and semiconductor infrastructure for the future. And all of this is supported by a smart policy framework that's pushing for sustainable growth.
It is really rare to see capital, industry, and policy all line up so perfectly, so quickly. This convergence leaves us with a huge question. With all of these essential pieces now falling into place, what's going to be the next major breakthrough for Vietnam's ecosystem?